משחקת תקופה טובה, עומדת בזמן יפה. Next speaker will be קייס עבדול קארים, please, who is from the Democratic Front for Liberation of Palestine.
Thank you. Let me please first present some personal information that I think is relevant to the theme that we are discussing. I belong to a party, to a faction, which is termed by the government of Israel as terrorist. But at the same time, I am one of the very few Palestinians that since 1973 publicly came out for a negotiated solution which is based on the two-state option and on the borders of 1967. This, I think, illustrates the fact that there is a very deep paradox and maybe a contradiction in the notion or concept of what is called partnership for peace. In my opinion, this is a notion which is to a great extent irrational. Peace is not made usually between friends. Between friends, peace is a given fact. Peace is usually made between enemies in order to end a conflict, to end a war, to reconcile two belligerent parties. And in order for this to be made actually and based on a sound basis and on a durable and permanent basis, you need each party, each people, each side of the conflict to put forward its own representative, democratically elected, accepted by virtue of what you may call revolutionary legality or whatever. But you have to have a representative for each people or for each side of the conflict, which is accepted by the majority of this side, rather than appointed or chosen by the other side to the conflict according to certain standards or qualifications. This is why I think that the approach to the whole question of solving or resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict through the channel of looking for partners has been one of the reasons why, to a certain extent, to a great extent, we have lost a lot of time, we have wasted a lot of effort, and we have also, unfortunately, cost ourselves a lot of lives without avail, without necessity. I am one of those who are oppositionists, shall we say, to the Oslo process. But I was against it because I thought, and still think, and I think that developments later have verified and justified this idea, that it is not the right way to reach peace and to reach reconciliation between the two peoples, because it lacks equilibrium and it is completely unbalanced. But at the same time, I think that the mainstream of the Palestinian movement and more than 80% of the Palestinian people are ready. They are real partners for a peaceful settlement, a peaceful solution, which is based on the two-state option within the borders of 1967 or pre-1967 borders. Do not waste time looking for other partners. Let us concentrate on the representatives of this 80% of the Palestinian people who are ready for this peace, and let us sit down and negotiate this peace in order to make it an option or a fact that could hold on the ground and that could gradually end the hatred between the two peoples and open the road for future reconciliation. I think that this is an approach that is much more fruitful, much more, shall we say, viable, much more feasible than the approaches that have been up to now adopted or insisted upon, especially by the Israeli leadership, different Israeli governments and leaderships. Now, before 1993, the PLO was not considered a partner. Maybe it's because the recognition or the readiness of the PLO to recognize the right of the Israelis to existence and to live in peace and security was not clear. But then, ever since 1988, the PLO was clearly out for a negotiated peace based on mutual recognition between the two peoples and on the two-state option. Ever since then, 5 years or more than 5 years were wasted until we reached to the point where this mutual recognition at last was materialized in the letters between Rabin and Chairman Arafat that were appended to the Oslo Accords. And now we're going back, unfortunately, to the same vicious circle that started, that we were running, or shall we say, circulating in before that mutual recognition. Now we are calling for partners which no one knows what exactly needed, what is needed by what do you expect from a Palestinian partner? If you want a Palestinian partner that is ready to accept a historical compromise based on the two-state option, you already have this partner. All the parties, the factions that are affiliated to the PLO are partners to such a peace. Now, if you want a partner which acts as a collaborator in order to guarantee the security of the Israeli occupation army, I do not think that at any time, not now, not in the future, not in Arafat, nor in Abu Mazen, you will find such a partner. This is completely a waste of time and a waste of lives, unfortunately. No, you will never find a collaborator amongst the Palestinian people. And if this is the partner you're looking for, you're just wasting time and costing yourselves a lot less stability, less security, more, shall we say, more time which is spent in this conflict, and more violence perhaps, and maybe an escalation of violence. Now, a question could be asked, now if such a two-state solution is arrived at through negotiations and on the basis of the borders of 1967, what will guarantee that this will meet the Israeli needs for security, and that the recognition is a real recognition of the right of Israel to exist, not only, shall we say, a transitional or an interim sort of backing down by the Palestinians. I think that the idea of having a security approach to a political solution has been tried and examined for too long a time. Let's now try to find the other way. Let's have the political solution, and within the context of this political solution, I am sure that there will be a very easy and very feasible and maybe a very effective solution for the security problems. This is the way to go about it. I think in the previous session there was some questions that asked about the analogy with the Algerians. With the Algerians, the dismantling of the resistance or the infrastructure of the resistance took place gradually, peacefully, as a matter of course, after independence and after the agreements that led later to independence. Let me just say that as early as 1973, and in an interview with Yediot Ahranot, I think, our Secretary General, Mr. Ahwatma, made this appeal to the Israeli public. Let us remold our swords into sickles, and instead of sowing hatred and death, let us reap prosperity, dignity, justice, and security for our future generations. With this, I conclude, and thank you very much.